City's toughest game of the year was against the Chargers. So I don't know them. It's kind of like the Chargers are kind of like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of teams, I suppose. You just don't know which Chargers team's going to show up. And like Bryce said, I think their offensive line has a couple guys down, not going to play. So I do think Tampa Bay wins this. 7 points. If I had to take the bet, I could see Tampa Bay winning by more than 7. So I'd probably take Tampa on that. I probably wouldn't touch this game if I had to bet it. And the over-under 43, I'd probably it's a tough one. That's not a lot of points at all. I mean, you're talking, a 24-20 game beats that over. So I think I'll have to take the over on that, but I wouldn't be happy about it. This is just one game I'd completely stay away from, I think.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Tampa Bay, baby. All right, moving on, guys. Let's go to the next game on the slate here. We got the Cleveland Browns traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys right now are favorites -4.5. Over under is 56. Reuter, what you thinking, bro?
Well, I think that this is a very interesting matchup because I on paper, both of these teams are incredibly talented. The weird thing with these couple of teams is that they've both also for the last couple of years kind of underperformed what you'd think of their roster. So for me, the biggest thing that I can say about these two teams coming into this week is that I think that the Browns have found their identity and the Cowboys have not to this point. That's where I'm going with this. So I think that Cleveland can win this game. I think even if it's a shootout, which I think leans Dallas's way, I think Cleveland can win this game because I think they found who they are. Baker Mayfield, I'd like to think most people are in agreement now. He is not. He's not going to save the day. I heard a stat earlier when he throws more than something like 27 times, the team is 8-16, and when he doesn't, they're 9-1 over his career. I think that they're going to be a run-heavy team. I think Dallas has trouble stopping the run, and I think that with a friend of the show, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb leading the way, the Browns are going to win this one in a much more low-scoring game than the 56-point over-under would have you believe, and I think the Browns win this game. I know that sounds probably crazy, but I think the Browns win in a little bit of a more low-scoring game. We're going to call it 27-20 Cleveland.
All right, Joe?
I think the biggest key in this game is that some key Cowboys are going to be playing. Myles Garrett scares the crap out of anybody as a pass rusher. Just ask Mason Rudolph, I guess, about that. Tyron Smith actually looks like he's going to play. He's questionable right now, but he's leaning towards playing. That's going to be a huge deal, I think, for me. That might be kind of the deciding factor of this game. If Tyron doesn't play, then I think Myles Garrett, he might just eat Dak Prescott. Both defenses are kind of like against the pass, or both the Cowboys' defense against the pass is absolutely brutal. So it's interesting that you brought up that win-loss record of Baker because he might need to throw a lot to win this game. Cowboys are actually pretty decent against the run. They're just horrific against the pass. So I look for like Beckham and Landry to kind of try to work and score some heavy points there. 56 is a lot for this game, but Dallas's offense has been humming. I feel like Zeke goes for over 100 in this game. I feel like Dak throws for over 300 in this game. I'm going to take Dallas in this with the -4.5. I think they cover that. I think they win this game. Over under at 56, I probably stay away from, but I can see the over hitting in this game. I could see a lot of quick strike touchdowns, especially with Dallas's leaky pass defense. So I'm actually going to go the opposite of you, Ed.
Okay, that's no problem. The one thing that I'll say, when I was looking at the rush defense versus the pass defense, I've kind of thought that for the last few years the Cowboys just cannot stop the pass at all, and I think that that's been part of what you see is that teams rush less because they can throw all over them. But what I saw was like Todd Gurley have a pretty good game against them. You saw the Seahawks always kind of run the ball well, so that wasn't much of a barometer there. And I also saw early in the year, I think it was the Rams, and I'm pretty sure that was the Malcolm Brown game where he scored a couple of touchdowns on them too. So I really feel like you can run on the Cowboys if you need to. It's just that most of those games have kind of been, at least the last couple have been a shootout thus far. I'd like to think that both of these teams are going to kind of get back to their roots, though, and run the ball a little bit more. I see it kind of being low scoring, man. I really do. But, Bryce, maybe you could be the tiebreaker here. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards what you're saying, Reuter. I like the under on this game, honestly. I think Cleveland kind of, like you said, they figure out who they want to be. They know that they need to run the ball. They arguably have the best tandem running back group in the league right now, behind a very good offensive line. And for back-to-back weeks, they've rushed for, on average, about 175 yards. Kareem Hunt is looking really solid, and Chubb as well is looking really good. Offensive line is getting some push, and then that allows Baker Mayfield to not fuck up the game. Play action, take your shots if they're there. If not, dump it off. And I think they're going to play a very conservative game. Dallas, obviously, they got those three awesome receivers, and they want to throw the ball all over the field. Plus, you got Zeke. But I think Cleveland controls the clock, and I think it's going to be lower scoring. And I got Cleveland winning as well. I like that they're getting 4.5 because that makes me feel even more comfortable. So I think I'm going to bet on Cleveland. I'm going to bet on the under on this game in the parlay. And give me a Cleveland in the score of, let's go 24. I'm going to go 24-17. 24-17 Cleveland.
All right, so fuck the co-host. I see how it is. I'm writing this one down. God damn it, I'm writing it down now.
We've had a couple over the course of the Beat the Odds segments that we had to write down. We had a very spirited debate over a Minnesota game earlier this year. Hey, write it down, buddy. We'll talk about it next time you're on.
Right. Captain Kirk.
You like that?
Like that. All right, moving on. We got the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Chicago to take on the 3-0 Chicago Bears. Who would have ever thought? Indy is actually favors in this game, -3. Over under is 43. And Trubisky's not starting. That makes me feel kind of good for Chicago. At the same time, though, this is a weird game for me because I don't like Indianapolis all that much. Phillip Rivers has looked pretty good, though. Ever since the week one where they kind of just crumbled, he's looked pretty solid. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not touching this game. I'm honestly not touching this game at all. I'm just going to give a pick. I'm going to go Indy wins this game. Score of 27-24. Field goal win.
Nice. I look at this, and
you're going with a push, huh? He's going with the classic push bet on this push.
He said he doesn't want any part of it. I look at this, and Chicago is my least favorite 3-0 team, and Indianapolis is one of my favorite 2-1 teams. Before the season started, I picked Indianapolis as kind of like the dark horse, not only to win their division but to make a deep playoff run, all kind of hinging on Phillip Rivers. He's looked okay. I don't know if I'd say he's looked great, but he's looked okay. He's got that turnover bug a little bit still. I look to see Indianapolis really throwing Jonathan Taylor in there. They've been kind of limiting his carries. He's been in the 12 to 15 range so far in the 2 games that he started. I can really see them going to the run a lot because I feel like Chicago does have a good pass rush. I think their pass defense is pretty solid. T.Y. Hilton's a little banged up. Other than T.Y. Hilton, Indy doesn't really have many receiving threats. I think Mo Alley Cox is their next best receiving threat after T.Y. Hilton, so think about that. Defensively, I think Indianapolis has taken a step forward defensively. They've had 2 really good defensive games in a row. Granted, last week was against the Jets, and I think I could have probably played free safety out there and done okay.
Strong safety.
Strong, yeah, obviously.
Very strong safety.
Very extremely strong safety. So again, I think Bryce, you hit it on the head. It's a game that I probably stay away from. Those games that are like the -3, +3, they can go really either way.
Yeah.
If I had to take a favorite here, I'd agree with you. I'd take Indianapolis on this. I think Chicago is one of my least favorite 3-0 teams. A lot of shit has had to go right for them to get to 3-0. And that over under is just weird at 43. That's just, it seems so low.
Yeah.
From what we've seen in terms of all these points being put up, but these are 2 good defensive teams. So give me the Colts 24, the Bears 17. Give me that, and I'll say then that the under hits at 40.
Okay.
I think that Nagy's offense can come alive against this Colts team. I do kind of like the Colts team, but I'm not going to hate on the Chicago Bears team until they lose. And getting points at home while they're undefeated and Nick Foles just take over, I think it was only a matter of time before Nick Foles kind of took the reins of the Matt Nagy offense. Maybe he's figured something out there. I mean, this Bears team keeps winning. They've got talent there for sure. Is Allen Robinson playing?
Yeah,
he's playing. I mean, they've got Anthony Miller, who I like a lot.
But you know what, though? Miller, they haven't been using him. Like, I know he's caught 2 touchdowns. I think he had one week 1 and then last week. But it's weird. He hasn't been on I read something about Anthony Miller, and I can't figure it out because he was supposed to kind of take over that number 2 for Taylor Gabriel this year, and they haven't been playing him a lot. But then you see him come out, and they're throwing to him in clutch situations. He had the game-winning touchdown was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah.
It was. He scored the winning touchdown in the Foles comeback game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm going to let the Bears prove themselves wrong. They've got one of my hometown heroes from our UB Bulls in Khalil Mack, and I wish them nothing but the best over there in Chicago. I like Nagy. You got to like the Foles story. Trubisky on the bench is kind of hilarious at this point, if you ask me. They've kind of mismanaged that quarterback.
This year? Has Khalil looked? He looked good.
Khalil kind of does what he's. Yeah, because he's kind of doing this year what he's been doing, which is just, dominating the line, but not necessarily putting up huge numbers because they double and triple team him and then throw a running back at him as well. He's incredibly disruptive. He leads that defense, but makes everybody else around him better. But nothing.
He's officially questionable for the game.
Oh, he might.
Uh-oh. And then I'm just reading this now. He's the second highest graded edge rusher through week 3.
Yeah, but I don't think that he's got a lot of sacks or anything like that, but he's dominant on the edge, and teams just know that coming into it, and they throw the kitchen sink at him to slow him down. But I'm still going to go with Chicago here. I think low scoring. 27, 14, something like that. Low scoring Bears win at home.
You think they'll win by that many points? 13 points?
Yeah.
27-14? I'm writing that shit down. I'm writing everything says down right now.
It's going to be you can mark the Colts down for a blowout win. Just everything I say. The other thing, the opposite's going to happen. That's fine. You can be my stenographer.
13-point Bear lead.
You better learn shorthand. I've been good so far this year.
Taking dictation. I'm writing a word for word everything you said.
Bears. Hey, by the way, there's a pretty good story on Bleacher Report on how the Chicago Bears drafted Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. And just to say they dropped the ball on that one. Big time. Like big time.
Yeah. I mean, they're never going to hear the end of that. I mean, Mitch Trubisky is officially done now, at least in Chicago. I don't really see him. I see him kind of taking on like a Marcus Mariota sort of thing. He'll go sign somewhere for less money to be a backup somewhere, but he's not going to get a starting gig in the NFL anymore.
Hey, maybe New England signs him. And
I would love it.
Bill Belichick works his magic.
As a Bills fan, I would love it.
So yes. Trubisky starting? Yes. Great.
Either that or Peterman. One of those two. If New England wants to sign either one of those, I'm all for it.
Shout out to Nate. All right, boys. Next game on the
slate. Shout out to Nate.
Shout out to Nate Peterman. He's listening. He's listening.
Probably. Got nothing better to do.
Why are we shitting on Nate Peterman? Next game on the slate here, we got Arizona taking on the Carolina Panthers. Arizona are the road favorites, -3.5. Over under is 51. Rudy, you want to take this one first?
Sure. I like both of these teams to be, let me say, not good this week. I think both teams are going to struggle offensively. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't know what it is about. I'm not sold on Kyler Murray yet. I think he's terrific. I think he's dynamic. I'm just not all the way there yet. Like when we saw what Lamar Jackson did last year, he came out and he looked special. Do you know what I mean? I think Kyler Murray looks fast. I think he leans heavily on DeAndre Hopkins, which I did not see Lamar Jackson do. Lamar Jackson was able to spread the ball around. He was able to do work with his feet. And is DeAndre Hopkins playing this week?